Like I said, when I think of Harlem, I oftentimes think of the images that Spike was putting out of what Harlem was like back in definitely the 70s and the 80s when he was putting out his movies. But I imagine that it's much different than it is now. And so what is Harlem like now, and what kind of unique approaches will y'all bring with y'all's business to Harlem? Because I imagine Harlem is a much different place in 2018, about to be 2019, than it was back in the 80s.
Excellent. That is very true. That is very true.
It's true because back when we were growing up, we didn't have like the internet like we have it now, which is one good thing or several good things to help us get out there a lot quicker because, you know, now and back then you could use word of mouth because it's very powerful, and that is something we are very used to because when we were kids, you know, we see the adults around us that were doing things, and one person tell the other person and tell the other person, and this is how one grows in one business. But now that we are adults and we are now experiencing the World Wide Web, how to get out there and put your name out there, marketing, different marketing tools, these are the things that we can use. And the three of us, with us combining all together and the strengths that we have, we use that as a marketing tool, Harlem itself, because Harlem has a lot of history with it, and we're part of that history, you know, because we're a legacy of people that were there before us, even our family members that live there, those that have done productive things and became very rich by putting in that time and that effort just like we're doing. So I think, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Timeshia and Janice, you know, that's where we're trying to move to, going from
Absolutely.
what we saw to what we're getting ready to do now. And this is why we're saying, hey, we're going to take the world by storm because there were people before us that did exactly what we are doing.
Mm-hmm. They paid.
Did either of you three have business folks that you were involved in? Like, did either of you have business folks in your own individual families that you're kind of modeling your careers after? Because I know that a lot of times people will have people that are in the same field that they're in that they kind of like use as their mentors. So I was wondering if any of you three ladies had folks that are out of your own family tree that were also doing business, and if you wanted to give some of those folks shout-outs, maybe some of your folks might have even been parents or uncles or aunts might have been involved in business as you were growing up. So what are some of the business things that you remember growing up that you're bringing into the forefront as you're creating your own business now?
Well, I can only speak for my background. I grew up with my grandmother teaching me and my cousins how to cook. We had to prepare in Puerto Rico. There was a lot of us, so we had to learn. So if I come back and I think about it, she trickled down not just on myself, where I do cater myself and I also bake, but my cousin also, he's a head chef at a big restaurant and hotel in Puerto Rico. His name is Omar Torres Millan, and he's really, really, really good. I have another cousin that also is a baker in Puerto Rico as well. So I'm pretty sure that both of us, all three of us actually, have some kind of trickling from our past and our aunts, uncles, and someone that taught us something that we're bringing it now forward. We're taking those recipes, those ideas that they had, and we're making them new and fresh and still keeping that authenticity that we had growing up to bring to the table.
Definitely. That sounds like a great thing. Now, I want to hear both from the baker as well as her two friends and everything. What do you consider your go-to dish? And I'm sure that your friends may even have other dishes that they prefer of yours versus what you think is your go-to dish. But if somebody had to ask you your go-to dish, that if they were going to get some food from you, that's absolutely the dish that you must absolutely serve every time. What is your go-to dish in your mind?
You said the baker or the caterer? Which one?
The baker.
My go-to dish, if I had to cook, and something that everyone asks me to make, is my go-to chocolate cake. They always want me to make my chocolate cake. And if it's not the chocolate cake, it has to do with food, then it's my pernil. I make a really, really good pernil, and that's the go-to one. And my favorite one from my sister, the caterer, is her oxtail. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Well, I'm a big fan of oxtails, so I might have to try to see if Dean can send me some of those oxtails down to North Carolina, because I'm definitely a big fan of any of those Jamaican dishes, including oxtail. So definitely I'm a big fan of that. But as talking to the caterer now, do you have a little bit of history in terms of your catering background, where you've done, maybe some of your family members did catering before you, or how did you get involved in the catering business? Because, like I said, I know quite a few caterers here in North Carolina. We actually work at the Cultural Arts Center, and we're always having caterers come in. So I know that catering is can be a very lucrative field, but it can also be very time-consuming. So I was wondering how you broke into the catering field.
Well, I've always been behind my mom and my grandma in the kitchen since a little girl, so I've actually been cooking since I was about 8 or 9 in the kitchen with them. And they would always have, every time our families would have functions, they would be the one cooking. So when I started taking over at 18 with the Thanksgiving dinners and the Sunday dinners at my house and all the holidays and the parties. And then everybody kept saying, you need to get you a restaurant. I'm not going to do that. So then I started it, and for a while it just got overwhelmed. There was so much going on. I didn't have the help. I stopped, and then I started back, and I just love it. I love doing it. I love putting a smile on people's face. I love people getting around. That's a good time for everybody to get around and enjoy each other and have a good time at eating. So that's what I chose to do that. Okay. And it makes me happy.
And the restaurant you had, was it a physical restaurant, and how long did you have that restaurant, and what were some of the...
I was just doing the cater. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was actually I never did the restaurant. I just was doing the catering, and actually I had my clients were the courthouses and the banks, and it was really nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I know that catering can definitely be something that folks can really enjoy, but I also know it can be very time consuming. I was actually just recently talking to my aunt and uncle, and they're actually going to host for us at their house their Christmas dinner. But in the past, one of my cousins and her husband, who was also very much into catering and everything, they hosted a Christmas dinner, and I understand that they had as many as 70 to maybe 80 people in their house in Charlotte that would come to their Christmas. Basically, it started off, I think it's a breakfast, and might have run into lunch and everything, but they just had more and more of their friends come, and I understand that after having done it for maybe 10 to 15 years, because they've been married, their kids are now grown, graduated from college, and are probably in their early 20s. So I know they probably did it for about 15, if not 20 years, but while they were doing it, they were really enjoying it. But I think that now they've seen the strains of what catering can do in terms of time. So when my uncle and aunt volunteered to do it, they were like, "No, y'all can have it." Matter of fact, I don't know that they're going to do it anymore anytime in the near future, because they have really expended their time with that catering. So what are some of the best clients that you remember, whether it's a family event or whatever, with your catering that you can share with our audience that might share a little bit of light as to how you approach a catering gig? So I don't know if you have any personal stories of a really good catering experience that you remember from your own past.
I'm going to give you one that was very recent, actually. I got a client that lived in Texas that never met me, that never had my food, but through word of mouth from another customer that I had, and they came up and they had their son's first birthday, and I catered his whole birthday. And from that, I ended up getting several clients from that. And it was just warming because they never had my food, but everyone enjoyed it. So that made me feel good. And that's the thing I get from it, is the joy of seeing people enjoy it. That's what I get from it. So I don't see myself stopping no time soon.
Yeah, it sounds like you definitely enjoyed the whole experience, both of the cooking as well as just the camaraderie that you get from the people and everything. What's the furthest place that you've actually done a catering at? Has it all been pretty much in the New York, New Jersey area, or have you actually had gone out of state to cater anything in terms of the catering business? What's the furthest that you've actually done a catering gig at?
Connecticut.
Okay. So Connecticut is what, that's 2 or 3 states over, and that's still a pretty good bill of travel and everything. So, and how many people? What's the most amount of people that you've done a catering gig for? Like I said, I've heard of people doing catering for as many as a couple of, maybe close to 100, or catering for like big functions. Or do you try to keep it more intimate, where you're trying to do just maybe 10 to 15 to 20 at a max?
The most I've done was 350, and there's no job too small or big.
Amen to that.
I know that's right. So you have to tell me, how would the 350 catering gig come about, and where was it at? Because like I was thinking, I work at a cultural arts center, and I think the most we've had is maybe events for about 150 to 200. So I'm even trying to picture what the venue was like when you were doing a 350 seat catering engagement. So where was this particular engagement at?
The Brooklyn courthouse where I used to work at.
So this was kind of like for the people that were with the courthouse and everything of that nature?
Yes, they hired me for the holiday party.
Okay. Yeah, I was just telling Dean before y'all got on the call that I just came back from what amounted to almost like a holiday party. They were honoring quite a few people that were volunteers. I think they have got like 160 people that are volunteering for different committees and commissions that the city appoints here in Durham, North Carolina. And so they were having an event there to honor those of us that serve on different committees. So I think out of the 160, I probably saw a good 100, 110 that were at this particular event. So I do know that those kind of things can definitely be very lucrative and very wonderful. Now, you said that you had retired from the courthouse. So are you doing the catering full time, and is that the only thing that you're doing, or do you have like a regular 9-to-5 job that you're doing as well?
I'm doing, of course, 3HarlemSistas. I have my own catering company, I have my travel company, and I have my T-shirt company.
Okay. So just before getting to the 3HarlemSistas, I want to hear from the other women as well, but tell us a little bit about the travel company and the T-shirt company, because I know people in both of those fields, and I know that can be very lucrative fields as well. So what are those companies, and how long have they been around?
Okay, the travel company, I've been doing that for about a year, and it's Time to Travel by Timeshia. And it's been going pretty good. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good, but my heart and my soul is the catering. But, it's been good. It's been good. And my T-shirt. Yes, sir.
The T-shirt company? The T-shirt company?
Yes. The T-shirt company is Fine Chocolate, the brand. And we're still working on that, and it's actually going to be available for the public come June 2019. And my catering company is Brenda's Daughter's Catering in honor of memory of my mom. Okay.
So your mom has passed on, and this is your way of honoring her, because if I'm hearing you correctly, your mom was one of those that actually was the one that kind of got you to learn about cooking and things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, it's always great when we honor our parents and our ancestors. That's very something that more of us need to do more and more of. Now, as far as the baker is concerned, does the baker have a 9-to-5 job, or is it pretty much just the baker work that is involved in only doing the baker's work?
Actually, I also have my own business. I own a small event company where this is actually my busy season. The holidays are usually my busiest season, where I make pasteles. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of them. It's a Puerto Rican dish that we make, called pasteles and coquito, and I also bake drinks, like holiday drinks. I make them into cakes and cupcakes, and I also sell those over the summer. My mom and I sell pastelillos. We have the vendor's license, and we sell pastelillos and alcapurrias, a lot of Puerto Rican tradition food that a lot of people don't get unless you're out in the island. So we bring it here, and we make it better for the customers. They place orders ahead of time, and this is usually my busiest season. I'm taking the time out to have, because I'm so blessed. We're so blessed that you guys have us on your show. But I was just, while I was talking to you guys and listening, I was also kneading some cookie dough for the gingerbread cookies that I have to make. So with all of this that's coming on with the second business, which is 3HarlemSistas, plus the business that I already have, which is Party at Your Budget. And the reason why I named it Party at Your Budget is because growing up, like as you guys already know, we grew up in Harlem. We really didn't come from much. Our parents weren't rich. They didn't have money. They worked. They all worked and had 9 to 5 and taught us the value of money. But they also found a way to always make sure that we had whatever we needed and always had the best. and made it fun. So the reason why I named my company Party at Your Budget is because I feel like